everyone, and welcome back to the Hazardous Artist Series, Episode 3, Christmas Madness in July. For we all know that it is indeed madness. But we have finally made it to the riveting, or not so riveting, conclusion of Layer 1. Now don't get all sappy on me, there's a bunch more layers in this, huh? You thought it was over after this. No. There's plenty of layers to go. But let's not wait and jump right into the action that is the conclusion of the first layer group. So, starting with the inking of the firewood because I forgot to do that when I inked this piece in general, which is why I needed the firewood holder from the last video. And because I also don't know how to draw firewood very well in like a campfire setting. So I winged it. A lot of my artwork is just winging it if I can't find a good reference. It's just me. Squiggles. That's pretty much what inking is for me. It's just a bunch of squiggles. Such an important piece that I forgot to do when I inked this. But it's okay. So as I'm cleaning it up, because line cleans are so very important in any art piece, let me tell you the stories. What it was like when I had pets on Christmas. So when I was a kid, I had a dog named Sandy. She was a very vibrant dog. Very, very vibrant. Like, she would play soccer with us by sitting in the goal and then get kind of pouty when we'd shoot into the goal and it would bounce off of her. Didn't really make the offensive team that happy, but the defensive team was pretty happy. But Sandy was one of those really intelligent dogs, I think. Sometimes she wasn't all that intelligent, but there were some moments. Like when my mom started putting Christmas presents under the Christmas tree, she knew which one was hers. And she would just sit by it and nose it. And she'd paw at it if my mom wasn't looking, but then she started to get into trouble for pawing at the presents that were hers. So she would just opt for sitting there and staring at her present like it was okay. But then, so she would get like bones. She never really opened her presents. I think that would have been amazing if my dog could have opened presents. But so my mom would do this thing where she would hold one of Sandy's presents in front of her and Sandy would sniff it and she'd paw at it like, I want it. My mom would open it just a little. You gotta add suspense when you're opening presents with my dog. So she would open it just a little, just enough that my dog would go absolutely nuts. And she's like, come on, tail wagging and everything. Like, come on, open it. And my mom would open a little bit more and a little bit more. And it would just drive my dog nuts. And then finally my mom would open it and give her the present. And a lot of times it would be like hide bones. So my dog would grab that and take off with it. And you would think, with any hide or like a meaty bone, you would eat it right away. No, Sandy had other plans. She went to look for open bedroom doors. And if there was one, if you were unlucky enough not to close your bedroom door, my dog would have walked right in and buried her bone underneath your pillow or underneath the blankets. But if she didn't find an open bedroom door, she would come back and bury it in the couch. Because why not? It's her hide bone. Why not? There's only a few times I can think that Sandy actually completely chewed her hide bones. Most of the time she just wanted to hide them. And she was never allowed to go outside with them. Oh, goodness, no. I've heard stories from my mom. I don't remember any of this. But I guess when I was a kid, she would steal Barbie heads from my Barbies and bury them in the backyard. I don't remember this because I don't know how old I was when this was going on. But that's a story that makes me laugh. So that's what Sandy did. Now that I moved out and my dog unfortunately went to heaven, rest in peace, Sandy, I have Raina, my darling little spoiled princess of a cat. And so when my mom would send me these giant boxes full of presents, she made sure that there were presents in it for Raina. Usually between 2 to 5, depending on what my mom thought Raina would like. And well, we'd get the boxes. Raina would be more interested in the box because, she's a cat. And she would claw it, like she'd scratch at it and just completely destroy the box. She'd never destroy the presents, which was good. I guess that was a good thing. But she would destroy the box because it would just be claw marks, like little shreds of cardboard. Cat's a very weird cat. She just claws at things, but she doesn't really go after anything to chew because we taught her early on not to do that. But when it was Christmas and we'd pull out Raina's present, I'd like sit it in front of her like my mom used to do with Sandy. And I'd just rattle it. And sometimes it would jingle because sometimes my mom would give her presents with bells in them. It would jingle. My cat would look at me, ears perked up, like, what is that? And then become disinterested. And it was always, what? So, but that was only for the toys. And when it came to food, Raina knew. Because she's fat. She's a lard. She's very overweight. Probably 20 pounds. And food is her calling. So it does not surprise me. Nor should it surprise any of you that my cat would want food. She takes after her mother, after all. So when you had food, she'd come over. She'd sniff it, look at you, sniff it, and go, so you're not going to open it? Open it. And then you would... I did what my mom did to Sandy, which is open it slowly. And my cat would just be like, are you kidding me right now? You really doing this? Are we really doing this? You know what? I have a few choice words, you son of... And then I would open it all the way up and I like dangle it in front of her like I was fishing for my cat. Like, here, kitty, kitty, do you want some food? And she would give me a death glare. That was pretty much how Raina always acted with me. She's just got to give me the death glare. And so, so I would eventually give her a few treats here and there. Let her finish eating the first batch of treats before I give her a few more. Try not to give her a lot because she's fat and she doesn't get along with any of the other animals here at the house I live at. There's 2 dogs, 3 cats, and, all the other wild animals out there like the mountain lion and the bear, which I don't really see very often anyway. But then there's the bees, and I can't let my cat go out there. And not because I don't think she couldn't survive. No, my cat would survive. She just beat up every other animal she saw. She's like that. She's done it before. So, but she doesn't get along with any of the other animals, so she has to stay inside. And because she stays inside, she's bored, she wants to eat. That's why she's fat. And I had to go through that whole story of why my cat was fat. I guess for justification that I'm not a bad owner, maybe. I really would like for her to go outside and do some actual exercise, but that I don't trust her enough for that. Not that she wouldn't come back because this is where the food's at, but just because I'm afraid she might beat up the dogs. But now that I'm in California, the Christmases here, man, are so gnarly. If it wasn't for the fact that we haven't done it recently in the last year or 2 or 3, in the last 3 years, I think. But we would have sword fights, foam swords, you guys. Not like real sword fights, but foam swords. And we would just hit each other with them, with our best sword fighting practice we could ever have. And, I mean, we didn't really get seriously hurt. But I remember one year when we adopted a certain brother from another mother into the family. I love you, bro. I accidentally hit him in a place where the sun don't shine, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. You can do what you will with that information. But he fell to the ground and shouted, "Man down! Man down!" doing an army crawl away from the battle scene. And I felt so terrible for about 3 seconds before I started to cackle. I'm not a nice person. No one should ever think I am a nice person, because I'm not. So, that was a really interesting Christmas we had. We don't do the phone sword fights much anymore, but it was fun. And then, when we went to Ken's grandparents' house, we would do a gift exchange. And one year, and these are not traditional items like, here's a Christmas ornament, or here's a toy, or, here's a new phone, or whatever. We didn't do any of that for gift exchange. What we did was pretty unconventional. One year I got Kahlua, and the gift exchange wasn't just like, here you go, Mel, I think you would like this. It was one of those things like, everybody pitched in for their own present, we put it in the middle, and then you would choose which present you wanted, and then we would go around and exchange gifts or steal gifts from one another, like a steal exchange, I guess, because you would have to give what you had to the other person in order to steal their present. And then, so one year I got Kahlua. I don't drink, you guys. I don't drink very often. I can't say that. Yesterday I had 120 proof whiskey. I was peer pressured, by the way, by family. Just kidding. I really wanted to know because he said he put fruit in it, and I was like, ooh, fruity. And it burned my nostrils before I even took a sip. And then I took a sip, and it burned on the way down. So I can't say that I don't drink alcohol, but Kahlua is definitely not my top first alcoholic beverages, I guess. So that was interesting. I think Ken got one of those upside down tomato growers, which was kind of cool, actually. We never did try it, or we gave it to Mom because she's more of the green thumb. Not my mom, his mom, because she's more of a green thumb than I could ever be. And with that, you guys, I think that will be the end of the video. Well, finally, because this concludes the Layer 1 series. Oh, yes! Next week, we can finally move on to Layer 2. How exciting is that? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Because I was excited that I got to enjoy it as much as I ever could, I guess. So if you like this video, well, hit that like button. Comment below on anything you want to say to me. Anything. I'm watching you, my friends. I'm watching you. Share with everyone, and I'll see you all next week. But until then, dare to create. Saying that I don't drink alcohol and then mention I had whiskey earlier that day does not really help my case.